All right, guys, we're going to be back on live without the software, which is frequently being disconnected when we discuss some interesting immigration news. And I'm not sure what's the reason for it, but maybe you know. If you know, you let me know. I'm going to repeat what I was sharing for my TikTok followers who were not interrupted and they heard the full announcement. We're going to discuss Biden new executive order, who can benefit from it, why it is important, why you would like to file and prepare your case and file right away. And of course, the significance of the order itself, as I shared before, it's probably the most important executive action within the past at least 12 years, right? The DACA was announced in 2012, so past 12 years. So please join me, like, share the stream, type up your questions. We're going to discuss what the announcement that President Biden did today and his administration announced today. We're going to talk about how to benefit from it. Like, share the stream so more people will be able to join, more people will be able to participate. And of course, let's see if this is something that's going to work for you, for your particular situation, right? Thank you very much, guys, for joining. Type your location. Thank you, Faju. Thank you for the roses, guys. Thank you for the stars. Thank you very much for YouTube. Super thanks. I'm really, really appreciative of all your attention. My name is Alena Shautsova. If this is the first time here for you, welcome. I do the slides regularly. I am a practicing attorney. I practice immigration in the United States for 16 years. And I share on this channel my explanations for the news announcements, how you may benefit from the different regulations, situations, my experience, and of course, answer your questions live whenever I can, guys. So let's start. We're going to start anew. I did have a live that was interrupted in about 5 minutes. So let's talk about what happened today. A very significant announcement was made by the Biden administration today that's going to benefit about 500,000 people, plus 500,000 people who are married to US citizens, and about 50,000 children under 21 years old, children of parents who are married to US citizens. This particular announcement is relevant to those of you who do not have legal admission to the United States, or in other words, who crossed the border, entered without inspection. Why? Because only in that situation, even if you're married to a US citizen, you cannot benefit from it. You will not be able to adjust status because you lack that legal entry to the United States. But this particular relief that was announced today fixes that, because according to this announcement, you will be able to apply for legal admission to the United States in the United States without leaving the United States. That's how important it is. It's called parole. Currently, parole in place is being offered to those who are family members of those who are in the military. Very small amount of people, believe it or not. This particular announcement expands the circle, making it significant, making it 500,000 plus of families who will be able to benefit from this, if you call it, reform executive action announcement. Why would you want to use it? Well, because it simplifies the way towards a green card. Currently, if somebody entered without inspection and are married to a US citizen, they still can fix their status, but it takes forever and it's very risky. You would either have to choose a cancellation of removal route, but for that, you have to be placed in removal proceedings, or you would have to use I-601A waiver, but it also has its limitations. In both situations, you have to prove hardships, and sometimes it's very challenging to do that if you're in court hardships that your qualifying family member is going to experience in case of your removal. And in cancellation of removal case, you are risking being deported. If you have a tough judge, you will be deported. In a case of a waiver, I-601A waiver, you're risking of not being able to return back from your trip abroad. Very important, right? You want to go back. You do not want your family to be stuck forever. Or you do not want to be stuck forever in your home country without your family, rather, right? And your family being stuck forever without you in the United States. So parole in place is going to help you to avoid this. That's why it's significant. That's why it's important. Saves you time and money. That's what it does. That's what it does. Who will qualify? The most important question. Only those who are married to US citizens and resided in the United States, guys, for 10 years will qualify. Plus, their children under 21 years old. Okay? That's it. In the United States for 10 years, married to US citizens. That's nothing new, actually, because very similar conditions are imposed on those who are filing for cancellation of removal. Would you rather apply for parole in place and avoid potential risk of being removed, or you would file for cancellation of removal and be stuck in removal proceedings for 7 years plus? I think you would choose parole in place. What will you need to apply for it? You have to be legally married to your spouse. Sometimes it's a straightforward requirement. Sometimes it's not so easy to prove that. Why? If you're previously married to someone, you have to make sure that prior to marrying this person, your US citizen spouse, you legally divorced from everybody else. At times, people face issues with proof that they're divorced because of the documents, because of the documentation by the local governments. Fixable issue, but you need to know about that. Usually you will need to finalize your divorce in your home country, coming from the home country or here, and then remarry your spouse. That's how usually you address it. That's $1 million tip for you. In the United States, you may remarry the same person without divorcing them first to fix the issue of deficiency of legal marriage sometimes. 10 years of residence in the United States. How are you going to prove that? Well, the usual way we prove everything in immigration: tax returns, medical records, records of children being born in the United States, hospital records, and so on and so forth. Typically, affidavits are not acceptable to prove the residency in the United States. That's the usual rule. Maybe administration is going to make an exception. In other words, a friend of yours cannot vouch for you saying that, yes, I know Maria lived here for 10 years. Maria usually has to have some documents showing that she actually lived here for that long. Tax returns, an excellent proof, employment records, and so on and so forth. Consult with an attorney. If you're somebody who is completely off the grid, then you're going to have an issue, right? If you're somebody who doesn't like to have any paper trail, works for cash, doesn't file taxes, it will be challenging, all right? Mind, the announcement that was made does not require you to be married for 10 years to the person. You only say that you have to be living in the United States for 10 years and you need to be married to a US citizen now. The exact language of the rule has not been published yet. Do you need to be married to a US citizen prior to filing or prior to the announcement? What if you marry with them now? If you're already married, it's not a problem for you. But if you're not married and thinking about marrying, then we need to see what's going to happen, right? But that's an interesting question. Now, when can you file for this opportunity? Administration stated that you will be able to do it by the end of the summer. So guys, you have 2 months to prepare. I urge you to start preparing now. You need to start preparing now so that when the door opens up, you're the first one to submit your case, so that USCIS considers it and hopefully approves it as fast as possible. Why? You know, USCIS, sometimes they have lengthy processing times. You do not want to submit your case or start working on your case in the end of summer, because then you will be filing for it in fall. And what's going to happen if administration changes and USCIS did not make a decision on your case and new administration comes with new rules? You do not want to find yourself in this situation. So work on your case right away, submit it right away, make sure that everything is ready and you are ready to roll right away. That's my best advice for everybody who's considering using this opportunity. What if you already filed a 601A waiver and waiting for it to be approved? That's not going to hurt you, all right? Go for parole in place. What if you are in removal proceedings? We're going to see how administration is going to handle it, but typically, if you are in removal proceedings or have a previous order of removal against you, you would probably want to terminate those proceedings before you're going to submit for parole in place. Right now, parole in place is being considered only by USCIS, even though I should have jurisdiction over it, and I do not know if it's going to be fixed this issue or not. But if you are in removal proceedings, so you had an order of removal against you, first you may want to address the removal proceedings themselves first. Usually that would be the route, judging just by 16 years of experience. Again, specific language has not been released. Perhaps there will be some Q&As also. That's the usual way USCIS is handling it, because it's a big deal. It's a big change in our immigration system. This announcement has to fit into the puzzle of many different regulations that we have to deal with now. And hopefully administration is going to be wise enough to answer all those questions. I'm telling you, I'm discussing right now without practicing them first, denying applications and you having to refile for everything. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But if you are someone who is married to a US citizen now, if you're someone who's been here for 10 years now, you do not have removal order, or even if you do have it and you would like to fix your situation this year as soon as possible, you need to start working on your case now. This is just my best advice for you. And now if you guys have questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. All right? Hi, Amar. Hi, Murray. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, YouTuber. Hello, Alena. If my brother is a US citizen who petitioned for my mother and mentioned me on that petition while I was over 21 years old, can I reclaim the priority date when my mom applies for me later? No. There is a way to transfer priority date from family-based petitions, but it only works if the same petition is filing for the same beneficiary in the same category pretty much. So in this situation, your brother was filing for your mom, not for you, and just listed you as a child, okay, in her biographical section. So that priority date cannot be saved. Hey, somebody knows anything different, you let me know. The law changes all the time. What if it changed and I did not know about this? But typically the priority date for family-based cases will be saved in a situation like petitioner used to be a lawful permanent resident, became a citizen. In many situations, there is an automatic conversion, not in all situations. Or perhaps you have to refile the case for somebody. but you will be able in this situation to use the priority date only if the previous petition was not terminated. So there are some rules attached to it. Wouldn't it be wonderful? You submit the case for one family member, you mention everybody else, and everybody else is covered by the same priority date. That would be great. Hi, DJ Thug. Hey, I'm from Iraq. Came to the United States in 2016 on J1 visa subject to 212J. Overstayed and applied for asylum, and my case was sent to court. Have I-130 approval, but I cannot apply for waiver because I can't obtain my lost DS-219. Will the judge grant IOS without the waiver? I don't think so. If you're going to choose an adjustment of status route and you are subject to 2-year foreign residency requirement, the judge cannot grant the waiver. The judge cannot grant adjustment of status before the waiver is resolved. Okay, that's why you file for asylum. Asylum is a better option, legally speaking, to fix your status, but I'm not sure if you have better qualifications for it. Okay. Hi, Jay Zubon. I have TPS. I'm married to a US citizen. Can I still apply for this parole? Sure, but you typically will not need it. If you have TPS, guys, you already qualify for the travel document. All right? And you will just travel, and it's very safe to travel with a TPS travel document. And you come back, and here is your legal admission, legal parole. You don't need to worry about it. Hi, Samir. Hello, Alena. My MCH got allocated. Well, I have a pending I-765. It's almost 47 days. Can you advise me, please? Master calendar probably got while I have a pending. Even if you have a delay in court, all right, after you accumulated 180 days to qualify for the work permit, you don't need to worry about further delays. The main thing is the initial qualifications, okay? And I'm just guessing here. Hello, ma'am, I'm in removal proceedings in Dallas court, but married to a US citizen. Do we have to go through interview? And if I'm approved, what happens in court date? Sometimes you do have to go for the interview in connection with your I-130 with USCIS, because only USCIS decides your I-130, not the court. The court has jurisdiction over adjustment of status only, right? That's how it works. So sometimes the USCIS waives the interview. Hi, I came here 22 years ago and got married 4 months now, but I came here from, I assume, name and eligible for parole in place. Assume name, yeah, sure, you will be eligible for parole in place, but you will need a waiver for fraud or misrepresentation. You will be filing for your adjustment of status, okay? That's how it works. If you guys use someone else's name to enter the United States, provided it's not a US citizen passport and name, then you can still adjust, but you will have to have a special waiver granted, I-601 waiver. Hi, Sidra. Hi, what about asylum interviews applied by 2020? You guys have to wait for your interviews. Unfortunately, there is no way to predict when you will be called for the interview. That's a sad reality. It's like a Russian roulette. Maybe you'll be called, maybe you won't. Even though you may have a friend who submitted their application at the same time with you and they are already called, you may not be called. And there is nothing you can do apart from 2 things: request to expedite, or you will file for a lawsuit against the government. Lawsuit is effective only if your case has been pending for at least 3 years. Just know that. Prior to that, there is no sense in filing for the lawsuit. All right. Let me see if you have more questions. Hold on. Так. Hi, can citizens give affidavits to show proof that the person is here for 10 years? We just discussed that. Typically, USCIS does not accept affidavits from people to prove as proof that somebody resided here for that long, guys. That's a rule of thumb, okay? Unless it's a landlord, perhaps, or someone else, like an employer, all right, confirming that you worked for them. But then you should have tax returns. Anyone who is residing in the United States, whether legally or illegally, anybody must file tax returns. If you cannot file them because you don't have Social Security and you cannot file them using that, you should be able to obtain tax ID, guys, and file using the tax ID. Guys, would you please do me a favor and share the stream and like it so more people will be able to join and participate in this discussion? Thank you very much for your likes. If it's not too burdensome, please like this stream. So it's gonna go up in YouTube algorithm. Hi, Anvil. Hi, I-601 waiver was denied last year. Am I eligible for parole in place? I would say, why wouldn't you? But why did you have to file for I-601? I-601, guys, is for those who usually have criminal issue, misrepresentation, fraud issue, some other issues. That's what I-601 is. I-601A is a different animal. I-601A helps you to prove that your US citizen, spouse, or parent are going to have extreme hardships if you are removed from the United States or if they have to join you in the in your home country. So that's what it is, I-601A. All right. Is there any chance, that's a good question, is there any chance for single people this year? Any plans? There were a lot of discussions, but so far I'm yet to see something that will be solid for single people. We'll see how, I guess, the Democratic polls are doing, right? If they need a little bit more boost before the elections, perhaps they will be generous enough to give another executive action or something else to tweak the system that maybe you guys will be able to file at least for travel permit and work permit. We'll see. Hi, Cheryl, can 18-year-old person sponsor her parents? No, not yet, but a spouse, yes, believe it or not. Yes to the spouse question. Hello, I have I-601A. My biometrics been added since 2022, but my waiver hasn't been approved. Am I eligible for parole in place? Yes, you should be able to file for parole in place without issues, provided you will qualify, and forget about this I-601A issue. I-601A will force you to leave the United States. You don't want to do that usually, right? I've heard horror stories where people were not able to come back. Sometimes they're accused of claiming to be a US citizen. Sometimes what happens is that a medical exam is not passed. A medical doctor, especially in Mexico, just have a note of that, may order additional tests and observation for a year prior to them approving your immigration visa, pretty much. So, you know, you don't want to, if you can avoid traveling abroad, do that. Definitely parole in place. If you guys will need my help, please reach out to me at Shautsova.com. You can book your appointment using our automatic appointment setter system. You can call my office 917-885-2261. Hi, Eric. I'm married to an American citizen who I'm married for 8 years, and we have 2 children. I have been living here for 16 years. I've been working in the same company for 16 years. Will this make me eligible? Yes, it should. Hi, Susie De Silva, who are considering the Dreamers because they say DACA holders and non-citizen immigrants who went to college. Dreamers is not a legal term. They refer to Dreamers as usually people who were brought to the United States at a young age. And in different proposals, Dreamers would have a different age threshold, 18, 16, 21. Right now we have DACA. Qualifications for DACA beneficiaries are set in stone, black letter law. Not so much, because it's also under attack. But Dreamers is not a legal term that defines certain group of people for sure. So it's not possible to precisely answer that. Hi, Alena. Alena, can lawyers advocate for immigration reforms who are waiting patiently? Sure. I go to Washington, D.C., take time from my busy life, my family, and my office, and go there every year for the past, well, during the pandemic, I did it virtually for the past 4 years or 5 years to advocate for you guys. I'm the US citizen. So I do it just for you. And guess what? With me, there are 200 something lawyers who do that every year. Out of tens of thousands of immigration lawyers, 200 plus, I think 230 something, find the time. That's the dedication. That's the payback to the profession, to the community, and go to Washington, D.C. to advocate for you, to meet with elected officials and to fight for you, right? We do that. We also sign different petitions. Some lawyers bring fabulous lawsuits against the government and regulations and win those lawsuits. So you guys will have status. So there is a lot of it going on, but we need support of other people, voters. We need support of US citizens. So it's not an easy issue to fix. You also need to know that while immigration is a very important issue, congressmen deal with 10,000 different issues on like a monthly basis. So it's a lot for them to process. And finally, immigration became hot enough, so everybody pays attention to it. Hi, can an undocumented spouse in common marriage qualify being living together for 8 years? No, guys, you have to be legally married. That's what's been announced today. You must be legally married. Hi, I'm Jack. Can I get divorced outside the United States and my spouse is in the United States on a green card? Can I cancel her permanent residence? You cannot cancel anybody's permanent residence. Only government can do that, all right? Can you divorce somebody? Sure. As long as it's legal, you can divorce them in any country, but you do not have a power to cancel someone's green card, all right? Only those who give the green card may cancel it. Hi, Hartan. What happened to people that entered with someone else's passport in 2004, left 2007, came back from Canada 2010, married to a citizen 2007? Sounds like those people will be subject to permanent bar and will face issues adjusting status, okay? Hi, Alena, does VAWA qualify? If you guys filing for VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, you don't need parole in place. VAWA law has an automatic forgiveness for those who qualify for I-360 petition, automatic forgiveness for lack of legal entry. So you don't need to worry about parole in place. All right. How long does it take USCIS to respond to an inquiry? It depends on the inquiry. Usually you're going to receive some sort of acknowledgement within the 30 days, right? But that's the usual timeline, 30 days, I would say. All right. And if you guys have more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Let me see if I missed anybody. Ding, ding, ding. Let me see. Let's respond to, okay, I answered that. All right, I think I answered all of them so far. You guys always can type up your questions. Okay, I see the last one. Box and tape. Will this benefit U visa applicants? It only benefits U visa applicants if they're also married to US citizens. Remember, guys, as I'm closing up my presentation, you have to be married legally to a US citizen. You have to show you've been residing here for 10 years. It's also good for your children if you are a spouse of US citizen, children who are under 21. Listen, we're going to have more discussions about that. Thank you very much, Marmot, for your gift. I-601A were approved. Anyway, I can go to interview outside of the United States. If you have already I-601A waiver approved, and you do not want to leave the United States, just wait. Drag the process in the NVC. Do not cancel it. Just slow it down, okay? Try your luck with a parole in place. Why? Because then you will save expenses for the travel, separation, that crazy medical exam in a foreign country, and most importantly, you will not be risking getting stuck there and being separated from your family, right? This is what it is. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining, for liking, sharing. As I stated, I'm going to have more information. Hopefully, we're going to get answers from the administration itself about these important issues. Some of them are very important that were raised. When you need to be married, now or for 10 years. I'm pretty sure you don't have to be married for 10 years. How can you prove that you've been here for 10 years? Affidavits are accepted or not? Usually not, but we're going to see what's going to happen, right? And equities. Will they encourage you to present equities as well? I'm sure they will, just like with the regular parole in place. There is an excellent question here. Will you be able to travel after you granted it? Usually not, but you should be able to file for the work permit, okay? I'm basing my answers right now on the parole in place process that we have currently for those who are members of military personnel. That's how I answer those questions. Maybe administration is going to come up with better regulations for you guys. We hope so, right? We're going to see what's going to happen. But for now, you can always rewatch this live. You can comment with more questions. If you need an in-person consultation with me, I'm available for those now in my Syasset office. If you need online consultation, please book it. I'll be happy to consult you personally, see what's the best plan of action for you, for your situation, how to prove that what we can come up with in terms of proof of you being here for 10 years, if you're somebody who's completely off the grid, right? And I'm sure that those of you who have hopes, have you guys meet these initial qualifications, you guys should be able to benefit and finally close the issue of that immigration status safely in the United States. Well, thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Facebook, and I hope to see you soon.